Had three.
Correct. Perfect. So let me start with some staffing updates for everyone. We did have 2 teachers decide to retire this summer. Obviously, they had enough time, and the decision was kind of pushed to the forefront of their decision making about what's going on with COVID. But Mr. Weiss, Rich Weiss, who was a longtime gym teacher at the school, has retired, and also Deborah Holston, who's a longtime English teacher, have retired. I'm happy to tell everyone that we are fully staffed. We have all of the positions filled that going into next year. So I just found out Patricia Piasek will be a new English teacher with us this year. And Michael Edwards will be the new gym teacher that will be replacing Mr. Weiss. And then we also have 2 other new teachers. They're both chemistry teachers. Zachary Meinhardt, who was someone who went through the site selection process we hired from Bodine High School. And Jesse Braxton is coming over from the workshop school. We interviewed him in, I believe it was April, virtually. So we have 4 new teachers. And then we have a new climate manager who will be taking over all the responsibilities of room 139, but he will also be doing the restorative justice community building programs that we're bringing in. His name is Alonzo Johnson. Mr. Johnson was working the past couple of years as a climate liaison at Saul High School. So this is a different job, a new role. He is not a teacher. He is not a member of the PFT. He is a member of the administrative team. So it's a new position at our school, and we're excited to have all 5 of our new team members coming in. So I just wanted to relay that. We are fully staffed, which is terrific. Not all schools are in that position. I'm very pleased that we are. So the second bullet I wrote down was pickup schedule for books. So I've been in communication with the assistant superintendent that we answer to, Dr. Carrera, who's also a central parent, about making sure students have the opportunity to come and pick up hard copies of books. So I'm hoping late next week, we're going to be able to set some days up, obviously with social distancing, for students to come and pick up different books in different areas to give them support. I'm very cognizant sitting on a computer all day is difficult. I have been doing it for the last number of months. And if we can get hard copies of different books and texts in students' hands, I want to do that. So be on the lookout for that. We will publicize that. We will email families. We will email students. We will post the information when we have it approved and have that set. But we're going to try to do that next week at some point. I already have some teachers that have volunteered to help us by department. So we're going to be working on that. Chromebooks and internet needs. So if you have an issue with Chromebooks, the district has purchased, last year they purchased 80,000, they purchased 50,000 more. If you need a Chromebook, there will be 3 sites that you can pick up a Chromebook beginning on August 17th. We will put this information out on the website and we will email it to parents. But the sites will be Fitzpatrick Elementary School in the Great Northeast, 440 North Broad, and also the 3rd site will be Martin Luther King High School. So we will get information about that out to everyone. But if your child is sharing a Chromebook with another child, please make sure you take advantage of this. It's not a cost to our budget. The district has purchased these tools for our students, and we want to make sure everyone has a Chromebook. They are new Chromebooks. If something happens to your Chromebook and it is broken, the 2 repair sites will be 440 North Broad and also Fitzpatrick Elementary School in the Great Northeast. You could drop them off. They will either replace it immediately or fix it on the spot, and you will be able to, you'll have a working Chromebook. So please take advantage of that. If you have your own equipment and you're comfortable with your own equipment, that is fine to use as well. But I just wanted to put it out there that these are available for our students. Plan for virtual learning. So we are planning for a full day of school. But it is not finalized, and I can't give you times and what it's exactly going to look like yet, because the School District of Philadelphia is still in negotiations with the teachers union about what that will look like. We have some ideas. I've met with teacher leaders and other members of the admin team to develop a plan around what it's going to look like, but I can't formally tell you what the day will exactly look like. But our hope and our goal is for students to be involved with their teachers on a daily basis, virtually, in synchronous and asynchronous types of opportunities of learning. So synchronous and asynchronous are the buzzwords for the year. I will tell you, you're going to hear them a lot. Asynchronous is when students are working independently. Synchronous is when they're interacting directly with their teachers. And as soon as we finalize that schedule, we will get it out to everyone. And I'm hoping by next week we're able to do that. And hopefully next week's town hall, if we're able to put one together, and I think we will, we'll have some more concrete information to share. Okay, you can go to number 5, please. So Google Classroom we're going to start the year, the LMS, the Learning Management System, will continue to be Google Classroom. The district did inform principals last week during PD that they are investigating other programs like Canvas, but we will start with Google Classroom. Teachers will be able to use Google Meetings and or Zoom. So Zoom has upped their security protocols. They were approved by the district. I know a lot of our teachers are happy about that. So they will be either using Google Meets or Zoom. The teachers will have to decide what they're going to use, and they will communicate that with your children. 6, a big push at the beginning of the year in particular will be around social emotional learning initiatives, and Healing Together is the initiative that the school district has put together. And that will take place during morning meetings. So advisory will have a component of morning meeting where teachers will be trained. We will do mindfulness. We will do other stress relief programs, and really check in with the students. We have all gone through a tremendous amount of stress. It has been a challenging 4 or 5 months. I think it's going to continue to be challenging. I am, as a parent, I have a 7th grader and a child going into kindergarten. I'm dealing with the same stress that you all are dealing with. My kindergartner was supposed to go back to school in some kind of capacity, and then the school just closed down and shut their doors as well, going virtual. So we're all dealing with different stressors. We want to be there for our students. We want to be there for you. And we think that this Healing Together program that the district has worked on with partners from outside the district will really support our students, and will give us the ability to check in and make sure we're giving students as much support as we can, even if it's virtual. And also our counseling and nursing team will be involved with the program. So we're excited about that. More information will be coming out about that. We're going to do professional development with our teachers and get them ready to roll out that program. This year, I just put it on here. We've never used the STAR assessment, but that's something we're going to give quarterly this year to assess math and reading. It's a new initiative. All of the high schools in the city of Philadelphia, actually all 6th through 12th graders will be taking this assessment. It can be given virtually, and it is relatively short. It's about 30 minutes, so it'll take 2 hours throughout the entire year. More information, we'll share that with your children more so when we get back. Okay. Regarding grading and attendance policies, this was a question that came up multiple times. We have no information yet about attendance policies or grading policies for this year. Again, this is something that's being negotiated with the union, and we should have some information hopefully by next week. The teachers return the week after that, so we'd like to have some concrete decisions by then. I will share that information with you. We're planning on running a full program this year. And you know, in a horrible situation, I feel as if this is best case for our school. It's not best case for every school, but the fact that we can run all of our classes, and the fact that we can run our AP courses and our International Baccalaureate program and all of our honors level courses and our regular courses that are advanced with our teachers is going to be beneficial. We wouldn't have had that opportunity in the first plan that the district had rolled out. So I think that this is going to be a positive for our school in particular. School progress reports, traditionally they've done them over the last 6 years. It's how a school was rated. They have eliminated that for the year. They've suspended it just for this year because there are no standardized test scores to evaluate. So I just wanted to put that out. We won't have a school progress report. We've always been in the model level, which is the highest level. I think that we would have been in there again based on our AP and our IB scores from this year, but they decided to suspend that. Current facilities works, things that are going on in the building right now. We have general summer cleaning. All of the classrooms have already been cleaned and disinfected. They're currently working in the hallways. We had a COVID cleaning team that was in the building disinfecting the school. I believe they will come back at some point. I'm not sure when, but they were in the building because I got to meet with them last week. All of the air conditioning vents have been cleaned. We did a survey of the entire building, and only 2 windows out of the thousands of windows in our building are not working properly. So that is a strong piece for ventilation. The 2 windows are in rooms that have other windows that do open, so it's not just like a 1-window room. And we have work orders in to get them repaired, so I'm happy about that. You know, our windows were replaced about 8 years ago, so they are relatively new for the school district. And then the readiness checks will be developed. They have these readiness checks that the facilities department will be running. Before when we do return to the school, whenever that might be, they will run all these and inform us to make sure that the building is ready for the amount of students and teachers that will be in the building. Number 11 is critical. Please continue to check the website and emails for updates. We will be updating you as much as we can when decisions are made and when we have concrete plans in place. I still think that we're going to be able to run the schedule that we're planning on running, a full day schedule. And I think that that's going to be great for all of us, and including especially the students. One change this year, September and October, all Friday afternoons will be teacher PD. So school will end 2 hours early, so teachers will get extra professional development through the first 2 months. That's something that hasn't happened in the past, so that is new. I just wanted to let parents know that that will be occurring. And we're going to have a special schedule, obviously, for Fridays. But we want to build in common planning time in this new schedule for teachers to work virtually together. We want to build in concrete times for office hours where students can check in with their teachers. We're probably going to shorten the periods slightly from what they traditionally are. What I'm looking at right now is shortening them from 50 minutes to 45 minutes to be cognizant of how much time students are going to be on computers and Chromebooks. So, you know, I've already met with some teacher leaders in the admin team, and we're trying to put things in place, but we're just kind of waiting on the district to give us the green light to formally announce what our plans are. So I just wanted to get in front of as many parents as I could. I see there's about 76 parents on this call. There were 90 on the call this morning, and take questions from you. I know there are a lot of questions. Some of the questions I got from yesterday about community service, I can tell you the community service is on hold. So your child will not be required. Obviously, it's not safe. We're not required to do any community service. I did not want to take that off the transcript. I didn't want to take it off the roster because if we're able to get back to school and some normalcy for the second half of the year, we will decrease the number of hours and students can still earn that half a credit. So that is why it is there. Halfway through the year, we will make a determination if we are going to remove it or move forward with community service. So we will communicate that. You're hearing it from me. So all students did receive their half credit and did receive community service credit last year. We ended the year, and I said basically, you know, on honor system, students can do more community service if they hadn't hit their number, the 30 hours. I trust the students. I trust them to do what's right when it's safe. So that's where we are with that. Will any classes be canceled was another question. We are not planning on canceling canceling any classes. Sorry, it's been a long day. But we're going to try to run our entire roster. So we're not planning on canceling classes. Someone asked about arts and humanities credits. If my child is on stage crew and costume design, how would that work? Would they still earn the credits? Yes, there are theory pieces to the classes. We've already had conversations with teachers. They're going to do theory and projects, and they will be able to earn humanities credits in courses like that. I also heard questions from parents this morning and also via email about music. We are working on a plan regarding music. I met with Mr. Blazer, the music director, yesterday. We have not finalized how we're going to do that. Obviously, it's going to be virtual. We are going to make sure that students have the ability to pick up art supplies at school and also instruments if they need them. So we are working on that. Mr. Blazer and I will have more conversations this week, and we will get that information out to families whose children are involved in the art and music programs. In terms of college counseling, that was another thing that came up. Counselors are currently on vacation till the 24th, so I'm not in communication with them, but we are planning on doing some virtual PD sessions, professional development sessions for students around application process. We will have 2 counselors that will support them, and then also we will give as much support around the college process as we can with FAFSA. We will still do virtual sessions for parents as well to support you. And I'm trying to think, was there another question about counselors? I think there was. Another question came up about SAT, PSAT. The district has not given us a decision about the PSAT, SAT day in October yet. We can order the PSAT and SAT assessments up until September 1st, so we're waiting on some direction from the district. I don't know what that's going to look like. When we get information about the SAT and PSAT, I will forward that to you as well. Okay. I think that's all I have currently. Sports. Athletics have been canceled until January 1st. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to, someone asked, is there a chance that fall sports could play in the spring? I think that is on the table. I think that everything is open for conversation. I think Jimmy Lynch, who's the director of athletics for the district, has been meeting with athletic directors. Rich Drayton, our athletic director, was on the committee with him. And I think they're having conversations around shortening, maybe do 3 8-week seasons where all of the students, athletes could work and play in their sports. So I think that that is on the table. I don't think any decisions have been made, but I know that we will not be participating until January 1st at the earliest with sports. And clubs. Someone asked about clubs. If students are able to meet virtually to hold their club meetings with their club sponsors, I've given Ms. Cervantes, who's in charge of the Student Association, the green light to let students meet virtually with their class sponsors and work on club activities as much as they can virtually. Okay, so I can take some questions. I'm sure there's questions.
Okay, I have some.
Okay.
First one is, if a student comes into Central this year as a 9th grader with a Chromebook, but that Chromebook is 4 or so years old, do they have the opportunity to swap that out for a newer Chromebook?
If it's their own Chromebook, they own that Chromebook?
No, they got it from the district for middle school.
I would return it to the middle school and just come and get it and pick up a new one.
Okay.
That's what my recommendation. If that's an issue, they can email me directly, and my email will be posted at the end of this presentation. So that's something that we could work on. I'd rather them, honestly, a 4-year-old Chromebook, I'd rather the student have a new Chromebook.
Okay. For 283 incoming students, whether they are district students or not, when will they be able to access information in the portal and get their logins?
So this morning I was on with the director of technology, one of the tops in technology. Mr. Innamorato finally got access to all of this. Mr. Innamorato is our teacher technology leader. He is emailing the 215 students. He's putting together the list. So check your email. Look for an email from Steve Innamorato. Mr. Innamorato will be emailing you with how you can access the portal, how you can set up your account, and how your child can access their new email address. That is happening as we speak. He's been working on it all day. But he's one person and there are 215 students coming in. So he is working on that today.
Okay, I got a question that says, when will advisors respond to student questions?
Well, the rosters are not finalized yet. I mean, you may be seeing something, but that's not finalized. Mrs. Van Buskirk was clear that she emailed everyone and said August 28th is when they are finalized. So it may not be your advisor. It may be your advisor. We're still making changes up until that time. So, but August 24th is when teachers come back to work. So I can say that. So teachers should be responding as of August 24th when they return to work for professional development.
Okay. How will 280 students be engaged for college planning in the process? So FAFSA forms you mentioned, but what about things like getting in touch for student or teacher recommendation letters, writing recommendation letters, all that stuff?
I think that, well, Naviance will be the system that they're going to utilize like we've been using in the past. So they can, they'll obviously have to communicate with their teachers, go to office hours and ask for those recommendations, and then they'll send a form to them through Naviance, and then teachers will write for them. But Ms. Chasen and Ms. Morrow are the counselors that will support them. So they can go to those counselors for support. We will do work around this. So we'll make sure that they have an opportunity to work with the teachers. And if there's issues around college support, please reach out to admin because this is virtual. And that's one of the things. A parent asked me this morning, how can parents help us? You can communicate with us. It's critical that you communicate with us. The assistant principals are available. We have a strong counseling team. Dr. Soda, the lead counselor, can support with the college process. She does that already. So if you need something and you're not getting a response, engage the admin team and we will support you.
How about the status of the asbestos and lead in the building?
Heidi, I'm sorry, Mr. McKenna. Can I just say one thing about the counseling? This year, the counselors are going to split up all of grades. So each of the counselors will be responsible for certain letter areas for all students from 10th through 12th grade. So it's going to be a little different. So it's not just Ms. Chasen. And Miss Morrow is going to be Miss Chasen, Miss Morrow, Miss Coots, and Miss Warlaw, who will be helping in that process. We did that this year because we knew it was going to be a lot of stress coming back and a lot of things going on. So we separated out that everyone will be responsible for helping students in all grades.
And Dr. Soto will be running, she will be the counselor for the incoming freshmen. She's also going to be the freshman sponsor. So we haven't had a freshman sponsor for the last couple of years, so she will do both jobs, but she will be supporting the incoming freshmen. So that's a good for us. Well, I'm sorry, Heidi, what was the other part of the question? The second
It was
question?
the asbestos and lead status for
Sure.
remediation.
I don't know. There wasn't an issue with lead, so I'm not sure why that came up. But there was a water leak in the roof of above the library, and I've been told that there was a 1 square foot patch of popcorn ceiling that was damaged. That is what is being remediated. The asbestos team has already been in the building, and I know that the roofers fixed the roof leak yesterday. So I believe that that's going to be finalized within the next couple of days, from what I'm being told. And the other issue was in a bathroom in the basement, in an area where students don't go. It was actually in an office bathroom in the basement, and there was above the ceiling tile was damaged, and they found a piece of pipe that was the insulation was disturbed. So that they had, they cordoned that off, and they're removing that. I believe that is occurring this week as well. So they were the 2 areas of asbestos. Sorry, I'm at my house. My 5-year-old is running around, just like probably your houses. Okay, so that's what's going on. They were small areas, and they're being worked on, and they're being cleaned up they're being abated by the asbestos team from the School District of Philadelphia, is what it's been reported to me.
Okay. How will high school selection work this year for 8th grade students who want to choose Central or another school for high school?
Hasn't been finalized yet, but that should be coming out soon. I'm sure we'll be utilizing grades and essay, but I'm not sure exactly what changes are going to be made yet. But all your children got into Central already.
I think there's some parents who have 8th graders on the call.
Okay.
I think you covered this, but just want to make sure, how will band and choir be delivered?
It's going to be delivered virtually. We're trying to figure out a time when we can carve out time during the schedule so that they can meet. But it will be virtual. Not sure. I don't have a definitive answer, just because looking at the schedule, we've been trying to figure out how we could fit that in. So Mr. Blazer and I will have continued conversations. I know the jazz band came up as well. We're going to have music in our classes, but we're going to have to figure out a way to traditionally they would come in before school, but I don't think that would work. It would probably be better if we did something at the end of the day till after school. But we haven't decided yet. Okay.
How about the orientation schedule for new students? What does that look like? When will that happen?
So the challenge was the district had promised us a lot of information with the addresses so we could get things set up for the students that are coming in from charter schools and private schools. Now that that's occurred, we will post, from what I understand, all of the orientation videos that have been recorded by admin, by student orientation leaders, by Ms. Hind, by Dr. Soda, by Mr. Drayton, our athletic director, should be posted on the website this Friday. So that's what they're, obviously it's not optimal that we're doing virtual orientation, but there's nothing else we can do.
Okay, similar to probably the band and chorus question, how will pottery class work?
That's a great question. I don't know yet. That's not, I'll write that one down. I don't know how the pottery class is going to work. I don't know if we can get clay to students so they can still do work virtually with their teachers. I'm guessing that with Ms. Durkee, we can make that work. I know that I'm guessing we're going to have to get clay in the students' hands, so art supplies will have to be distributed. But I will ask Ms. Durkee what we need to do.
Okay. There's a question about the bridge program for African American students and whether or not we're going to be delivering that.
There's a summer bridge program. It's not for African American students. It's for,
it was written as AA. I don't know if that was, I assumed it wasn't Alcoholics Anonymous.
No, it's a summer. We started a summer bridge pilot this year. So we've had this idea about creating a summer bridge for students that are transitioning into Central. And we invited 10% of the class randomly. So it's not an African-American program, but it's a program for transitioning to the school. And Mr. Hung and Ms. Hind work on writing this curriculum. So we want to track the students, see if it's effective. And then next year, we're going to try to expand it to more students if we find it to be an effective support program for students. So it's just a new program that we're piloting this year.
Okay, I apologize. I don't know what the AA stood for. Okay, PSAT, will that be online and when?
We don't know yet. This district has not given us, we asked that question. That was one of the first questions I asked last week, and they do not have an answer for what we're going to do yet. Once we do, we'll let you know.
Even though fall sports are postponed or canceled, is there any possibility of having any fall sports practices?
No, not on campus, no. Everything is shut down in terms of athletics until the 1st of January, according to Jimmy Lynch, who's the head of athletics.
Okay. If parents have roster questions, who should they direct them to?
Mrs. Van Buskirk. And her email address is ngone. It'll come out, but again, they're not finalized till August 28th, and we will go through the regular add drop program after they're finalized, and students can put in roster requests for changes. Even though it's virtual, we will continue to do that.
Okay, and then somewhat related, you mentioned book distribution.
Mm-hmm.
Will that book distribution happen after the rosters are final?
No, because the great majority of rosters won't change. So if there has to be a change and exchange of books, then we can do that after, because we need to get the majority of the books out. So it has to happen before school. So if there's a roster change and we have to make something change, then we'll just make sure the student gets the correct book.
Okay. When will we hear more about the virtual learning strategy? I think this is in the context of the quality of education that is expected at Central, and compared that to what happened in the spring.
Yeah, I think that we have a lot of teachers that have been participating in district PDs over the last couple of weeks around how to deliver more effective virtual classes. And the fact that we can expand with Zoom and create breakout sessions, and we weren't truly able to do that last year. I think that that's going to help with the asynchronous and very synchronous kind of work. And we're gonna rely on a lot of our teacher leaders who have done great, because obviously some of our teachers were more advanced than others. We're going to rely on them to do a lot of training. That's why there's going to be common planning time weekly. That's why there's going to be 2 hours of PD every Friday for the first 2 months. We want to make sure that teachers have the proper training that they can deliver quality instruction. And the fact that we're not going A/B, that we're going to be going every day, and students are going to be interacting with their teachers every day. It's not going to be teachers posting work and then grading that work. They will be interacting through a virtual platform with their students every day. And that goes back to communication. If you feel as if something's not happening or not occurring, then you need to communicate with admin so that we can support the teachers so that they are delivering what's effective for the students.
Okay, similar, I guess, related to what happened in the spring, will there be an expectation for student cameras to be on?
So I cannot mandate that. But I will tell you, we would appreciate it if you would ask your children to turn them on if they feel comfortable doing so. Teachers have asked me to mandate that, and I am not allowed to mandate that. So it's just us working together. Teachers feel as if they can't see the children. They don't feel as if they can connect and assess what's going on with them. But again, I cannot mandate it, but we would appreciate it if your children would turn them on. And that's just, and I'm not teaching classes. I'm just relaying the message from teachers. They feel more connected with the students when students do turn on their cameras.
Okay. Can students switch electives?
If there's space and they're putting in a roster, I guess it depends if there's space and there's a reason why they want to do that. Yes.
Okay.
But I tell you, if they say, I want Dr. Scott because she's nicer than Mr. McKenna, a reason to change the class. But if it's because I need a humanities class and not a science class elective because I need a humanities to graduate, that is a reason. So it's got to be a reason that we make the change.
Okay.
And we make mistakes, and we do make mistakes with rosters, and we do make roster changes because of those mistakes. So it's important to ask if you think there's an issue.
Okay, and just everybody bear with me. I'm trying to go through these questions in order, so I know that there's a bunch here I have to get to. There's a comment about what happened in the spring with teachers closing the chats in Google Classroom or in Google Meets to help the students focus, but then it meant that if students didn't already have each other's contact information, they couldn't be in touch. This is just a suggestion that maybe the students be allowed to have a chat for a few minutes in their classes.
Wasn't aware that occurred.
Okay.
It's never been told to me, so I can talk about that with the faculty.
Okay, question about how gym will work.
Well, we're going to gym is for 11th grade primarily. So we will still offer the mindfulness program. So that'll be a 12-week program that students will participate in. You know, my child took gym last year virtually. The teacher's going to work with them, you know, and create health class as part of that. So they'll still be teaching health virtually. And then they're probably going to do some physical activity with students, I guess, in their homes. They're going to have to do that.
I think, again, this is probably somebody who joined us late, but can you just talk about what's happening with community service hours?
Community service is on hold until halfway through the year. I did not want to take it off all of the student transcripts because it's a lot to put it back on. If we're able to get back to some normalcy, we will cut the hours in half beginning halfway through the year. Students would then still be able to earn their half credit. If we are not back halfway through the year and we are not back at all this year, then we will take it off and we will just eliminate that. It won't affect anyone in a negative way. We will take it off the transcript at that point. I am hoping we are back, but I can't make any promises at this point based on what, you know, I'm reading and hearing.
Okay, so this is also related to community service, but there was a question / suggestion about whether there will be any effort made to harness the sort of great students at Central that might be able to help younger students in their neighborhoods in a safe way that sort of enables or facilitates that community service spirit.
Yes, we're actually exploring ways to do mentorship programs in the school. So yes, it is a great idea. We are exploring that, and we're going to try to do something with that. I know Girls High does a program, and I'm friendly with the principal there. But it's very informal, though. They just basically match students up, seniors with freshmen, and say, this is your mentee, and mentor them. I think that we need to do something I think that we need to do a little more training around that and try to be thoughtful in how we pair students up. But I think that that's a great idea. We also want to do some restorative kind of community building activities in the school. And that's Mr. Johnson, our new climate manager, is going to be working with, we're going to try to identify 80 to 100 student leaders, train them, and have them do work during advisory during these morning meetings as we get farther into the year. It's very difficult to do circles when you're not physically in the same space with people. And I've learned this just from having conversations with people with restorative community building. But we want to definitely tap into our student leaders and try to train them and have them do work to support our other students. So yes.
Okay. This is a follow-up for the orientation program. Will that be asynchronous only, or will there be any part of the orientation program that be addressed?
It'll be asynchronous for the most part.
Okay.
We're still toying around the idea of trying to bring in all of the freshmen and have some speakers interact with them, some students. That would be closer to the beginning of the year, but we haven't finalized our plan for that.
Okay.
But right now it's asynchronous.
Okay, and here's a question about the teaching schedule. Will that be 8 to 3 every day?
Yes. The plan, unless the district, like I said, this is not approved by the district yet. So unless the district comes back and says, okay, the teachers are teaching 3 hours, everything that I have been told throughout my last 8 days of PD with the school district of Philadelphia is we will be working a full day, 8 to 3:04. someone asked me in the first town hall, would teachers, science teachers in particular, be able to come into school and do laboratories so that they could stream them so students could see them? I don't know. If teachers are allowed to come in and want to come in, I will be at Central every day. So I will allow teachers if they are allowed to. But I don't know. Right now, the union and the school district are negotiating that. I know some districts are mandating that teachers come in. That has not been determined yet for the school district of Philadelphia. I will also tell you that I am investing in an online program where students will have the ability to do virtual laboratories. So Ms. Cohen, the SBTL in charge of science, and the science team have identified this program. I am purchasing for the school, so we will be doing virtual labs. But I don't know if teachers will be coming into the building yet. Hopefully they will have the option. Some teachers won't be able to because they have childcare issues. I understand that. Some teachers want to come in if they're able to and it's approved, then I will allow teachers to come in.
Okay. This is specific, but somebody's child in 281 had her roster come through with AAH, African American History, which she already took. So she won't need that book.
It's a mistake. It'll get fixed.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
email Mrs. Van Buskirk, and that's a mistake that needs to be fixed. That happens.
Okay. Can you mandate that teachers have their cameras on?
It's a great question. I have to find out the answer to that. I can ask general counsel that. I'm not sure. I think I can, but I didn't realize that teachers were teaching without their cameras on. But I will find that answer. I will get an answer.
Because students and teachers are meeting virtually, can there be an expectation that all assignments will be explicitly and are all entered into Google Classroom?
In terms of, they'll have to use Google Docs or, so all assignments are posted in Google Classroom, so everything has to be virtual and how it's submitted. Is that what the question, the answer, I'm sorry, the question is?
I think it's just sort of what people said about the spring was that sometimes assignments were posted and sometimes they weren't, or they were delayed by.
Oh, grades being posted.
No, assignments.
Okay. That's another, if you have issues with that, to the parents that are on this call, you need to communicate that with us. If you see a delay, then you need to communicate with admin so we can get involved with that.
So I think it was about assignments being in writing versus just spoken.
Yeah.
So that if somebody wasn't hearing right or
it should be posted in writing. So okay. I agree. I wasn't aware of that either. So we can definitely push the teachers to make sure that they're putting things in writing. If there's an expectation for something to be turned in, students should be able to visually read it and print it or whatever they need to do. It shouldn't just be spoken. So Tracy, I know Dr. Scott's on this call. Give me a thumbs up if you're hearing that and writing that down. Got it. Thank you.
There was a question or a suggestion about the potential for when we do move back to in-person learning, if there is an opportunity to explore outdoor or in-park learning, or is gathering strictly prohibited?
I don't know what is outdoor learning, like using the green spaces around the building.
Yeah, probably in the new parking lot or.
Oh, teachers. I mean, there are teachers that teach outside currently at Central when it's beautiful and they're able to do that. So I have no issue with. We have the new outdoor classroom behind the English wing is complete. We have a new field above the parking lot that used to be all overgrown with trees. It's beautiful green space. There are 2 green spaces between the buildings now that are fully they're grass. And I want our students and teachers to utilize the outdoor space more so than they have in the past. I feel like it's a lot safer on the back part of the building, and now it's so green and usable that I want the students and the teachers to use that space. So I would be open to that, yes.
Okay. Will every class still be about 50 minutes, any asynchronous time in between live sessions?
If I get my plan, it'll be 45 minutes for each class, and there'll be 5 minutes between each class for a break. But again, I'm telling you that nothing that is in stone, nothing in writing, has not been approved.
Okay. Previously, there were issues with some teachers responding to emails in a timely fashion without being able to see them in person or before school or at lunch or in advisory, that was a challenge. Is there a way that you'll address that this year?
I can put something in the handbook. I mean, if teachers aren't responding in 24 hours, you should be reaching out to us. You should reach out to the school-based teacher leader in charge of the department. They have 2 periods off every day to support parents. So if you don't hear from a teacher within 24 hours, I would reach out to the school-based teacher leader for that department. And then if the school-based teacher leader doesn't respond, and I know my school-based teacher leaders will, but if they don't, then you should reach out to the assistant principal in charge of that department. But at 24 hours is enough time for a teacher to respond to you.
Okay, can you provide more detail into what waiting on the district to give the green light means? A couple of times you mentioned having to wait for the school district for things like grading or attendance policies. Is there a formal process that you have to follow?
I'll have to follow whatever the determination of the negotiation that goes between the PFT, the teachers union, and the chiefs downtown, the chief academic officer, the chief of schools. They are working with the teachers union to finalize, the length of work day, to finalize expectations for teachers. So we'll have to follow we're going to have to follow whatever is negotiated. So if they come back and say teachers only have to work 5 hours, I can't say you have to work 7 hours. I know that there's this misconception that because I'm the president of Central High School, we can do things differently, but we do have to follow the policies and protocols of the school district. And I still believe that it will be a full day. I'm very hopeful for that, but I need the green light. What I mean is I need someone to tell me officially, and this is a frustration that principals and my colleagues are feeling right now. We need decisions to be finalized so that we can move forward and inform our communities of what's going on.
Can you explain how exams will work?
I haven't even started to think about like regular assessments, or are you talking about finals and midterms? I mean, we didn't do finals last year, and if we're still out, I doubt we're going to do midterms, but I haven't even started to even go there and think about it. We are going to need parent support though. Parents supported us this summer with proctoring the 9th grade math assessment, and it went very well. We may need help. We're looking at programs to give assessments virtually, but we may need parent assistance with, giving assessments at home with their students. And so I have not even started to think about midterms yet. That's January. And if we're back, we may give them, but I don't know if we're going to be back at that point.
Can you explain the process for the language placement tests for incoming students?
Yeah, I spoke with Mrs. Rodriguez this morning. She gave a questionnaire out to families asking for if their children had taken classes in the past, and they're based upon those surveys. And we thought we would be back, so she thought that she would just assess the students when they got back to make changes for students that should be at a higher level. If you believe that your child should be in a higher level than they're assigned to, then, or a lower level, then I would ask you to email Rachel Rodriguez, the SBTL in charge of world language, directly and have a conversation with her by email. She has already reached out to multiple parents. Traditionally, we would have given an assessment to the students who wanted to take it in April, but we didn't have the ability to do that. So her email is rgrimes, RGRIMES @philasd.org. That's her maiden name, Rachel Grimes.
Okay. Will there be any back to school events or handouts?
We're going to plan a virtual back to school night so that parents can meet with their teachers, children's teachers. So we will do that. We haven't finalized the date for that yet, but we will communicate that with everyone.
Okay. Another outdoor learning question. Would you be open to outdoor learning during the virtual phase?
During the virtual phase? Well, no one's allowed to be on campus. Technically, during I have to sign a waiver every day that I go in the building. I have to get permission to be at Central High School, and I run the school. So I doubt that they're going to allow that to happen at the school.
Okay. I think you already addressed this, but again, people are coming on and jumping off. So will there be student clubs and activities?
Student clubs, yeah, I gave the green light to Mrs. Cervantes. If students have a club sponsor and they want to meet virtually and do some planning, I'm open to that. It would have to be virtual, but absolutely, if they can meet virtually, and I'm sure that the members of the centralizer will be meeting with Mr. McElhenney and planning articles and doing things virtually. So if you can do it virtually and it's safe, absolutely.
Okay. All right, one more. What will physical education look like virtually? Just again.
It's going to be different, obviously. I mean, we're going to be teaching health. We're going to be teaching the mindfulness program, like I spoke about earlier. So all 11th graders will get mindfulness. So we will be doing health and mindfulness. And then also the teachers are going to have to be creative, and they can do teach lessons around rules and regulations for different sports. And they can add physical components to it, I guess, safe, as long as it's safe in your home. So they'll be doing that as well.
Yeah, this Dr. Scott, Mr. Drayton is working with the physical education department to develop different activities that students can do. They might use an app with showing that they're walking so many steps or things like that, but they're trying to work out a way so that they can get some physical education in for students.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's covering all of the questions that are in the chat. I just wanted to make one more request. If you haven't already signed in through the chat with your name and email address and your student's name, we're asking you to sign in because Dr. Scott is responsible for documenting parent engagement for Central High School. Also, this Zoom meeting was recorded. So just like the one this morning, as soon as we get a chance to produce that video, we will get that posted. President McKenna will send that out through the portal, and we'll also post that out through the parent listserv. I think that's everything.
Well, great. I appreciate everyone jumping on tonight. And I appreciate you trusting your children with us. We're going to work to make sure that they have a great educational experience. I know it's not optimal for us. It's not optimal for me. I can tell you personally, I so thoroughly enjoy working with the students at Central on a daily basis. And we have a very talented faculty. I know they've been working hard this summer to try to up their game, in the virtual world. And we just need you to communicate with us. And we need to work as a community. And we will be back at Central at some point when we can be safe. And that's the most important piece to this puzzle. We want to make sure everyone's safe. But we will be trying to give your children the best college prep program that we can give them in a virtual world. I promise you that. So I look forward to working with your children this year. I miss them. I truly do. I don't just say that. I love my job. I love working with students in this city. I'm a lifelong Philadelphian, and we're gonna have a good year, and hopefully we'll be back sooner than later. I can tell you that. Okay, so everyone enjoy their night. We will schedule more of these, and I'll try to. I don't want to waste your time either, but I just wanted to get in front of you and tell you what I do know. Hopefully, I'll have some more concrete answers, and I can give you more information the next time we meet.
Okay, thanks very much. Thanks everybody for joining.
Thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Bye.